We are now heading into the last quarter of the year, and this is the time when a lot of small habits and decisions can make life feel heavier instead of lighter. After years of simplifying my own life, I have seen how certain things during this season can easily drain your time, energy, and money if you are not careful. So in this video, I want to share 10 important things you should quit before 2025 ends. Let's get into it. The first one is treating sales as savings. The last quarter of the year is when the sales start showing up. There's all the Thanksgiving sales, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the holiday deals. For decades, we have been trained to think that Q4 is when you win in life by hunting deals. And it is framed like, if you don't buy something now, you are missing out. But what I have noticed is that the numbers on those price tags can be a bit misleading. For example, spending 50 instead of $100 sounds like you have saved 50, but in reality you have still spent 50, and often it wasn't even something you had on your mind before the sale. In that moment it for sure feels exciting, but then January comes and you are left with bills, regret, and things that don't really fit into your life. And in some cases, they even raise prices before the sale period, so it looks like a better deal than it really is. So what I try to do now is keep a list of the things I actually need. Like if my running shoes are wearing out or I need a new winter jacket, that goes on the list. Then if I see it cheaper, I will buy it. But if it's not on the list, it's probably a thing I don't really need in my life. So the way I see it, the real win during this period is not grabbing the best deal, it's walking away with only the things that actually make life easier or better. The second thing to quit is the next year excuse. We all have those little things that bother us but never feel urgent enough, so we just push them off. You tell yourself, it's fine, I will deal with it later, and then December comes and suddenly turns into next year's problem. We do this because it feels much easier in the moment to imagine handling it later than to just get it done now. But the truth is, those tasks don't go anywhere. They add up quickly, and 10 small unfinished things can feel like one heavy weight in your mind. By the time January then arrives, you're already stressed because you carried too much into it. The best way I have found to avoid this and to deal with them is to list them out. Write down every small thing that has been bothering you and then just start crossing them off one by one. For me, one of those tasks was my eyes. They are still fine, but this summer I started noticing some small changes. At first I thought, well, I can still see 98% perfectly, I'll just check them next year, but it kept bothering me almost every day. So this week I booked the appointment, got them checked, and the relief I felt after was way bigger than the effort it took. Now I know what is happening with my eyes and which type of glasses I need. That's what happens with most of these things, like closing the loop frees energy and reminds you that you actually are someone who takes care of things, not someone who avoids them. Keeping unused clothes for another year. Summer temperatures are ending for most of us, and all the lighter clothes are going back into storage or back of the closet, and this is usually the moment when you see the truth, that some of these clothes just sat there untouched all season. What most people do then is just pack them away again. You tell yourself, maybe next summer I will wear it. And maybe that is true, but the best data you will ever get is right now. This season already showed you what you actually reach for and what just takes up space. The problem with saving those pieces is that it creates a cycle. Next year, you will unpack the same items, face the same little decision, and probably put them back again. These days, the way I try to see it is pretty simple. If I didn't wear something all summer and it's not a piece only for special occasions, it's very unlikely I will wear it next summer either. This is not about being strict or throwing out everything, it's just facing the truth that some clothes no longer fit you or fit your style, and letting them go now means you will open your wardrobe lighter next year with only the things you actually enjoy wearing. The fourth thing to quit is ignoring sales that actually save money. There's also another side to sales. Sometimes skipping them completely is not the most intentional choice either. When the season changes, shops are usually like clearing out the stock. Summer items are pushed aside to make room for winter stuff. For many of us who want to be intentional and frugal, the first instinct is to just avoid all sales completely. Minimalism is often framed as like saying no to all deals because sales usually mean clutter. And that reflex makes sense, but it can also make you miss the times when a sale is actually useful. That's why I keep a small list throughout the year of the things I actually need in my life. Then when the season ends and the prices drop, I know exactly what makes sense to buy. Of course, you could skip the sales and just pay full price later, but if it is something you already know you will need, it makes more sense to get it when the price is best, of course. Because minimalism, after all, is not about rejecting opportunities. It's about aligning them with your values. And if something adds long-term value to your life, getting it cheaper is simply being intentional. The next one is believing January will save you. As the year winds down, it is easy to start making big promises to your future self. You think, next year I will finally declutter that closet. I'll get my routines in order. I will figure out a system for my finances. And it feels almost responsible, like you are setting up a better version of yourself. And this is the fresh start effect, you know? January gets treated like a reset button, the one moment when you will make resolutions and transformation is finally possible. The problem is, waiting for January is really just delaying something that doesn't need to be delayed, at least in my opinion. It feels easier to dream about a better version of yourself than to take small steps right now. And by doing that, you throw away 3 months of the year that could have already been spent doing something that you would like to do. That's also why most resolutions collapse by February or March. They were not built on actual practice and preparation, they were built on just waiting. And when they fall, year after year, you start to tell yourself that you are someone who never follows through, which is really not a helpful belief at all. A fresh start does not live in January 1st. It lives in every ordinary morning. Any day you can choose to act differently, and that can be like when the reset begins. And honestly, starting small now means you will actually be ready for the new year instead of starting it with a long list of promises. If simplifying your life is one of those things that you are interested in, I have recently added new lessons and updated the exercises in my course, Simple Life Blueprint, to give you a full framework to create a simpler, more minimalist life. It helps you declutter every area of your life, build habits and systems that last, and turn overwhelm into clarity. It is still 50% off until the end of this month, so a few more days, and you will find the link in the description so you can check it out. The sixth thing to quit is sticking to the wrong season. One thing I have noticed is how easy it is to carry summer habits into autumn without even thinking. Like, you have been staying out late, sleeping less, maybe saying yes to more social things, and it feels natural to just keep it going. But then suddenly it's darker, colder, and those same routines start working against you. In autumn and winter, our biology shifts. We need more recovery and rest, slower evenings. The rhythm changes, and when we ignore that, we pay for it with lower energy, more stress, and feeling disconnected. That's why I think Each season requires a reset button. And this is something that we do a lot here in Northern Europe, in Nordic countries. People don't fight the seasons, they adapt to them. You don't want to complain that it rains more, because it is something that you simply cannot control. Therefore, you shift the focus. Instead of thinking about all the things that you are now missing, you notice the calm atmosphere rain brings and how the leaves are turning yellow. Each season has something to offer if you let it guide you instead of resisting it. And the next one is related to that, and it is skipping evening routines. Now that the days are getting shorter and evenings start to stretch out, if you don't have a plan for them, they usually get filled with whatever feels the easiest. For me, too often that used to mean hours of doom scrolling my phone or social media. It felt like I was unwinding and relaxing from work and studying, but it never actually recharged me. I would go to bed late, overstimulated, and wake up tired. One night of this is like not too bad, but when you stack a weeks of it, you get so drained. And every morning start with that frustration of, I wasted the whole last night again. That's why I suggest paying attention to this now so you can break the cycle before it even sets in. Even something simple like cooking, reading, or setting a cutoff time for screens can shift the whole evening and therefore the next day. Number 8, carrying old subscriptions into 2026. Subscriptions are one of those things that can sneak into your life and then just keep draining money in the background. You sign up for something during a Black Friday sale with a good 1-year subscription deal, but then when the auto renewal hits, it's usually full price. That's why now is the perfect time of the year to go through them one by one before they renew. Check every app, every service, every membership, and ask yourself 2 simple questions. Did I actually use this? And did it bring me value? If the answer is yes, great. If the answer is no, then it's not worth letting it renew and you should probably cancel it. Keeping half-finished plans alive. Looking back at your 2025 goals or intentions, you might notice a few projects that never really got finished. Maybe a creative idea you started but never had the inspiration to finish, a new hobby that requires more free time, or a fitness goal you thought would stick but slowly faded away. And instead of deciding what to do with them, you just leave them hanging there. They're not really in progress, but not fully gone either. Part of this for sure comes from the sunk cost feeling that you already put time, effort, maybe even money into it, so quitting feels like waste. And part of it comes from identity. Letting go can feel like failure, so you keep the plan half alive. The problem is every unfinished thing in the background still takes energy, and even worse, it creates the illusion that you are making progress when really nothing is moving forward. That cycle usually only leads to guilt. You keep feeling behind on something you are not even planning to finish. The solution here is to make a conscious decision. Either commit to bringing it back and finishing it, or officially close it down. Stopping is not a failure. It will free you to value who you are today, not who you thought you would be last year. The next one is waiting for holidays to be happy. It's easy to treat the last 2 months of the year like the big reward. Movies, ads, and even family traditions keep telling us that these celebrations are when life finally feels good again. So after a long year, you start pushing happiness onto that one season, hoping it will fix the stress or the anxiety you have carried for months. If you're not happy now, it's tempting to think, well, Thanksgiving is just around the corner, or the Christmas season will make me feel better. The problem is that with this mindset, you end up wasting weeks or months just waiting for the special days to arrive. and when you put all your focus there, the normal days in between start to feel pretty empty, almost like they don't count as much. What has helped me is understanding that holidays are nice, yes, but they shouldn't carry all the weight of your mood, stress relief, or happiness. The real peace comes from creating little joys and calm rhythms in my day-to-day life. Things like slow mornings, a walk outside, or time with loved ones. So instead of waiting, find ways to make life lighter and happier now. Let today be enough. Remember to check out Simple Life Blueprint using the link in the description, and to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.